Hello, it's Jim Hutchins for the Jerusalem Connection Spot Report for this week. As I speak to you, there is a growing conflagration that's taking place in Jerusalem. Some are referring to it as the Third Intifada, where Palestinians are being incited by their leadership to try to start fights, bring violence. Been a number of stabbings, a number of deaths, even going into the old city. This may very likely continue until there is a forceful discontinuance of it that is brought about by the Israelis. They'll not stand for this long. The Israeli people are getting tired and they're getting frightened and overly cautioned about it. And at the same time, something that bodes even more dire circumstances and a dire future for Israel is the Russian expansionism that's taking place in the area. Russia has come to Syria's aid, and Israel is becoming increasingly concerned about that. As a matter of fact, Reuters reports, along with the Israel Hayom staff, that tomorrow, Tuesday, a senior military delegation will visit Israel for 2 days of talks on how the countries can avoid accidentally clashing, Israel and Russia clashing while operating in Syria. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Russian President Vladimir Putin agreed on September 21st to set up teams as Russia steps up military support for Syrian President Bashar Assad, who has been losing ground in an Islamic-led insurgency. Israel is worried. Israel is worried the Russian deployment, which includes advanced anti-aircraft units and warplanes, risks pitting Russian forces against its own Israeli forces in Syria. According to foreign reports, Israel has carried out a number of strikes in Syria in recent years to prevent the transfer of advanced weaponry from the Assad regime to the Lebanese terrorist group Hezbollah, and they will continue to do that, and Netanyahu has informed Putin that that will be the case, that arms coming to Hezbollah will not take place. Israel has said it holds the Syrian government responsible for any spillover violence from the 4-year civil war there. On September 27th, Israel struck Syrian military targets on the Syrian side of the Golan Heights in retaliation for cross-border rocket fire. The Russian delegation that's coming on tomorrow to Israel will be led by First Deputy Chief of the General Staff, General Nikolai Bogdanovsky, who will meet his Israeli counterpart, Deputy Chief of Staff, Major General Yair Golan. The two will meet at a military command headquarters in Tel Aviv as a part of a 2-day visit of the Russian Army delegation to Israel. Among other matters, they will discuss regional coordination issues, an Israeli military officer said on Monday. After Putin and Netanyahu met, an Israeli military officer who spoke on condition of anonymity told Reuters that countries would focus on aerial operations in Syria and, quote, electromagnetic coordination. And evidently this means a reference to the sides agreeing not to scramble each other's radio communications or radio tracking systems, devising ways of identifying each other's forces to avoid any unintended confrontation in the heat of battle. Finally, in explaining Israel's objectives in coordination with the Russians, Netanyahu told CNN in an interview on Sunday, quote, I went to Moscow to make it clear that we should avoid a clash between Russian forces and the Israeli forces. Quote, in Syria, I've defined my goals. They are to protect the security of my people and my country, of Israelis and of the state of Israel. Russia has different goals, but they should not clash. They should not clash. That remains to be seen. That remains to be seen because there is a confederation that Russia is heading in support of Syria, made up of Syria, Iraq, and Iran. That's a three-nation confederation. And it's my understanding now that overtures are being made for Russia to come into the leadership vacuum that exists in Libya, North Africa, because of the oil that is there. And no one is, we have retreated from it, and no one has taken the leadership. That's ripe for Russian intervention. All this sounds like, and I think looks like, the Gog-Magog confederation that's given to us in Ezekiel chapter 38, 39. Especially 38, the nations are spelled out there. Gog-Magog. There's Persia, there's Libya, there's Iraq, Iran that are in that. Could this be the forerunner? Could this anticipate the Daniel 9:27 covenant that sets up the 7-year period that eventuates in the glorious coming in power and great glory of Jesus our Messiah? Could the Daniel 9:27 covenant be on the visible horizon here? I say yes. Sooner or later, that's going to happen from that same confederation of nations. And sooner is getting sooner all the time. Till next week, Od Ki Yavo Shiloh, or until Messiah comes, Yivareka Yahweh. Yahweh bless you, Yahweh bless yours, and Yahweh bless those who love you.